Good evening, dear listener. Tonight we drift back to a world that believed it still understood the sky, a world that thought the heavens were distant, unreachable, a quiet ceiling painted with stars. But this night and this morning that follows belong to the first humans who will rise beyond that painted ceiling. This is the final calm before the great leap, the last sunrise before history bends. And we begin with one man waking into a day that will change all days that come after. The first light of morning rests gently across his eyelids. It is soft, warm, golden, the kind of sunrise that makes the world feel safe, the kind of sunrise that carries no hint of the weight it places on his shoulders. Adrian Cole exhales slowly as he wakes, feeling the familiar quiet of his bedroom wrap around him like a soft blanket. For a brief moment, he forgets what day it is. For a brief moment, he is simply a man waking to the warmth of morning. The faint chirping of city birds drifts through the window. A cool breeze carries the scent of freshly watered lawns and distant bakery ovens warming their dough. He lies there, with his eyes still closed, listening to the world breathe softly. And then, the truth returns. Today he goes to the stars. His heartbeat quickens not sharply, but in a slow rolling swell, like an ocean tide rising beneath his ribs. He opens his eyes. The ceiling above him glows dimly with morning light, the familiar cracks in the plaster forming shapes he has memorized over the years. He stares at one small crescent-shaped crack, in particular one he always said looked like a tiny moon. Today that little moon feels like a quiet omen. He sits up slowly. The sheets drift from his shoulders, cool against his skin. As his feet touch the wooden floor, he feels the faint trembling in his calves, a mixture of nerves and anticipation held tightly inside his muscles. He stands, stretching his arms overhead, feeling bones click gently back into place. The house is still. His wife is asleep in the room down the hall. Wrapped in blankets, the door cracked just enough for warm light to spill across the carpet. He takes a moment to steady himself. A simple breath in, a slow breath out. The morning smells like home fresh air, warm dust, the faint scent of her perfume from the night before. He walks quietly to the bathroom. The tile floor is cool against the soles of his feet. He turns on the shower and steam begins to rise, filling the small room with warmth. As he steps inside, the water washes over him in a steady, grounding rhythm. It feels cleansing, steadying like a soft reminder that he is still human, even as he prepares to climb into the sky. He closes his eyes as the water runs down his back. He thinks of the months of preparation, the years of training, the endless simulations, the nights he fell asleep on his study desk with textbooks open beneath his cheek. He thinks of the danger, the unknown, the possibility that he may not come home. A quiet shiver runs down his spine that has nothing to do with temperature. He places a hand against the shower wall, letting the water run over his face. This is the last shower he will take on Earth for many days. He dries off, wraps a towel around his waist, and walks back into the bedroom. He dresses in simple clothes, nothing special, just a comfortable shirt, worn jeans, and the old watch his father gave him. The watch ticks steadily against his wrist, each second a reminder that time is carrying him forward. He steps into the kitchen to make breakfast. The room is filled with the soft glow of morning sun spilling through the window above the sink. Dust particles float in golden beams like tiny stars suspended in the air. He cracks 2 eggs into a pan, The familiar sizzle comforting and warm. The smell fills the kitchen quickly, rich, familiar, grounding. As he eats, he looks out the window at the street beyond. Cars pass slowly. A man walks his dog. A woman jogs by with headphones on. Sprinklers flick across green lawns in rhythmic arcs. It all feels so wonderfully normal, so peacefully ordinary. And yet this ordinary world sits on the edge of the extraordinary without even knowing it. He finishes his meal in silence, grateful for the simplicity of it. Then he rinses the plate, letting the warm water run over his hands for a moment longer than necessary. He dries them on a towel and stands there just breathing, listening to the quiet hum of the refrigerator, the faint ticking of the clock, the soft rustle of curtains in the breeze. He knows he needs to say goodbye. He walks down the hall. His hand rests on the doorframe as he looks into the bedroom. His wife, Elise, lies on her side, hair spilling across the pillow like dark silk. The sunlight touches her gently, outlining her shoulders and cheek in soft gold. For a moment, he simply watches her breathe. He memorizes the shape of her, the softness of her expression, the warmth of the room around her. He steps quietly inside. As he sits beside her, the mattress dips slightly, and she stirs. Her eyes open slowly, still heavy with sleep, and when she sees him, she smiles. A soft, tired, beautifully familiar smile. "Morning," she whispers, voice warm and hushed. "Morning," he replies, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. Her eyes search his face gently, and she knows. She knew even before he said a word. This is the moment all their whispered late-night conversations and fears have led to. "You are leaving now," she says softly. "Yes." She sits up and leans into him, her arms wrapping around his chest. He holds her tightly. Her warmth settles into him like sunlight. She smells like lavender and the soft cotton of their sheets. "I will be back," he murmurs. "I know," she whispers, "but that does not make it easier." He presses a kiss to her forehead, then her cheek, then her lips, soft, slow, full of everything he cannot say aloud. She holds his face between her hands for a moment. "Come home," she says. He nods, swallowing the lump forming in his throat. "I will." He stands. She watches him from the bed, holding the blanket to her chest, eyes shining with unspoken fear and pride. He walks to the front door slowly, feeling the weight of the moment settle into his bones. He grabs his jacket, his boots, the key from the counter. As he steps outside, the morning air welcomes him with gentle warmth. The sun is brighter now, the city fully awake. Cars move steadily through the streets. Children walk to school with backpacks bouncing against their sides. The sky is a soft blue, dotted with wisps of white cloud. He walks the familiar path through his neighborhood, past the bakery where warm bread cools behind the window, past the fountain where people toss coins and make wishes, past the bus stop where a group of teenagers laugh loudly about something trivial and comforting. The closer he gets to the city center, the louder the world becomes. Traffic hums, shop doors open with soft chimes, people talk, laugh, sip coffee, hurry along sidewalks. It feels like any other day, a normal day, a peaceful day. But his heartbeat grows heavier, his breath grows shorter. A faint tremble runs through his fingers. Nerves gently wrap around his stomach like tightening threads. He pulls his jacket closer, not because he is cold, but because he needs something to hold on to. As he turns a corner, the towering shape of the space station complex rises ahead, gleaming steel, tall windows, antenna arrays glinting in the sunlight. The building reflects the sky so perfectly that for a moment it looks like a piece of the heavens has descended to earth. The gates buzz softly as he approaches. Security personnel nod as he passes through. The massive courtyard beyond stretches wide, a space filled with morning activity. Technicians carry cases of equipment. Engineers check tablets filled with data. Visitors take photos near a statue of an early astronaut. His throat tightens. His palms grow damp. Each step deepens the truth. This is real. This is happening. In just hours, he will leave the Earth. But then he sees them, his crew. 3 men waiting near the entrance. Friendly faces, steady smiles. Men he has trained with for years. Men who have laughed with him in tight simulation rooms. Men who have shared every danger and doubt along the way. Jackson waves. Miro raises a thermos. David grins broadly, arms crossed like this is just another Tuesday. All 3 look calm, confident, ready. Something inside Adrian loosens, not fully, but enough. Enough to let him breathe. Enough to remind him he is not alone. He approaches, and the group immediately slips into familiar banter. "You look like you slept 3 minutes," Jackson teases. "3 more minutes than you," Adrian shoots back. Miro laughs, slapping Adrian on the back. "Big day. We are going to make history, boys. Or burn the place down, trying," David adds with a grin. They all laugh loud, warm, genuine laughter that fills the hallway and pushes away the quiet tremors in Adrian's chest. Standing among these men, feeling their confidence, he remembers why he trusts them with his life, why he believes they can do this, why he believes humanity can leap into the unknown. The morning sunlight filters through the tall glass windows behind them, casting long golden rays across the floor. Adrian exhales slowly, deeply, letting the calm settle in his bones. It feels like any other day. And yet the greatest journey in human history begins in just a few hours. He walks with his crew toward the briefing rooms, steady, ready, no longer alone. Tomorrow, the Earth will watch. But today begins quietly with warm sunlight, steady laughter, trusted friends, and a heart preparing to leap into the stars. The camera lights burn hot against his face. Dr. Marcus Hale blinks into the glare, adjusting his stance as the reporters crowd forward, microphones stretched toward him like reaching metal petals. The morning is bright, the sky clear, and the breeze gentle, but none of that touches him. His breath is shallow. His heartbeat thrums beneath his perfectly pressed shirt. Behind him, the towering rocket gleams in the distance, its white body reflecting the rising sun. Its presence looms in his peripheral vision like a sleeping giant, silent, still, and yet louder than any voice here today. A reporter clears her throat. "Director Hale, can you confirm how confident you are that your crew will reach the moon safely?" He feels the eyes of the world watching. He feels the weight of every engineer, every technician, every family member, every child dreaming of the stars. He offers a practiced smile. "We have prepared for every scenario we can," he says with a calm voice he does not entirely feel. "Our crew is highly trained. Our equipment is the most advanced ever created. We move forward with confidence." A second reporter steps in immediately, overlapping her words. "Can you guarantee their return?" His throat tightens. There is a silence, a heavy pause before he answers. "We cannot guarantee anything in a mission like this," he says softly. "We can only work with precision, dedication, and hope." Another voice jumps in. "What happens if something goes wrong out there?" There has never been a landing on the moon. You cannot predict what is waiting. He knows this. He has felt the gravity of that truth in every late-night meeting, every simulation that crashed, every emergency drill that ended with red flashing letters reading failure across the screen. He raises his chin. "We have prepared for unknowns," he replies. "But exploration always carries risk. The men chosen for this mission understand those risks, and so do we." Then comes the question he knew would appear. "Director Hale, do you believe there could be alien life on the moon?" A ripple moves through the crowd, a low wave of murmurs. Cameras angle closer. Pens hover above notebooks. His jaw tightens. He inhales slowly. Warm morning air fills his lungs, carrying the smell of cameras, ozone, and the faint scent of coffee drifting from somewhere backstage. And he answers with simple truth. "We have no evidence of any life beyond Earth," he says, "but we cannot rule anything out. That is why we explore. That is why we seek answers." Another reporter leans forward. "So you admit the unknown could be dangerous?" He allows a small exhale. "All unknowns carry danger," he replies, "but they also carry possibility." The questions keep coming, some sharp, some hopeful, some filled with fear, disguised as curiosity. He answers as best he can, carefully, expertly, but always with the quiet awareness that he is walking a tightrope between truth and the fragile confidence of millions. Finally, the interview ends. The bright studio lights lower. The camera lenses stop focusing on him. The reporters drift away, whispering among themselves as they rush to broadcast their stories. Marcus steps back from the podium, releasing a long, slow breath as he does. His shoulders slump just slightly, now that the world is no longer staring at him. He lifts his coffee from the table behind him, a warm paper cup with his name scribbled on the side. The warmth steadies him. The smell of roasted beans fills his senses, grounding him gently. He walks away from the outdoor stage, moving down the long concrete walkway toward the central entrance of the facility. Security nods at him as he passes. The sun rises higher, warming the pavement beneath his shoes. Each step echoes a hollow, rhythmic sound that reminds him of the countless early mornings he has walked this path before. But today feels different. Today, the air carries something electric, something heavy, something sacred. He sips his coffee and lets the heat settle in his chest. His mind begins its usual spiral. So many lives depend on this. So much rests on thin layers of metal and equations, numbers and calculations and fuel lines, and the delicate choreography of human and machine. He trusts his team deeply, absolutely. But he cannot control everything. He knows that. The world knows that. Even the crew knows that. And still, they walk toward the sky. He enters the building. The interior hums with the soft noise of voices, computers, papers rustling, pens tapping against clipboards. The control center is alive with anticipation, energy, and silent pressure. Engineers gather in clusters, reviewing data on glowing screens. Technicians carry stacks of binders filled with checklists. Assistants hurry between rooms with cables, wires, charts, and last-minute modifications. Marcus walks past them all, past people who look to him for leadership, reassurance, steadiness. He keeps his spine straight. He keeps his face calm. He keeps his steps even. Inside his mind, though, an entire universe of fear swirls. A quiet storm, a whisper that repeats the same truth. There has never been a day like this in the history of mankind. A young intern hurries beside him and hands him a small stack of documents. "For the morning briefing, sir," she says. "Thank you," Marcus replies gently. The pages feel heavier than they should, too significant, too critical. He steps through the final doors that lead into the control room. Here the temperature is cooler. Rows of consoles glow beneath dim lighting. Large screens hang across the front wall, displaying streams of numbers, diagrams, and live telemetry. The room hums with soft mechanical whispers, air vents, computer fans, distant printers. People look up as he enters. Their faces show exhaustion mixed with excitement, tension formed from months of preparation. And beneath it, all trust. He sets his coffee on the conference table and clears his throat. "Good morning, everyone," he says. Dozens of voices respond in quiet unison. He begins the meeting, moving through each segment with care. Fuel levels are prepped and holding steady. Navigation parameters are confirmed. Lunar trajectory is locked. Communications are aligned with all global relay stations. Surface conditions on the moon remain stable. Each confirmation soothes him, but only slightly. Beneath every green light is 1,000 tiny chances for failure he cannot speak aloud. He flips through the reports with steady hands. He listens to his chief engineer discuss pressure tolerances. He nods as the communications specialist runs through signal strength. He reviews emergency procedures with the operations team. All the while, tension coils tighter in his stomach. He glances toward the back wall of screens. One display shows live satellite images, Earth in one corner, the moon in the other. His eyes drift toward the moon. The image is crystal clear, a pale sphere, silent cold, untouched by humanity. It glows softly against the black canvas of space, an unreachable world humanity has dreamed about since it first understood the night sky. His chest tightens. He has seen this image thousands of times, but today, it feels new, raw, vulnerable, like an invitation and a warning at the same time. He steps closer to the screen. The moon's surface stretches in endless plains of dust and shadow. Craters glow faintly where sunlight brushes their edges. Dark patches create a mosaic of forgotten history carved in stone. Its silence seems almost sacred. He imagines the astronauts stepping there. He imagines their boots leaving the first human marks. He imagines the cameras capturing it, the microphones broadcasting it, the world holding its breath as humanity becomes something new, something more, something brave. But beneath the awe, fear whispers. What if something goes wrong? What if they miscalculated even by a fraction? What if a single seal fails? What if the landing gear collapses? What if the surface is not what their instruments suggest? He presses a hand to the railing in front of the screen. His coffee cools slowly on the back table behind him. He inhales deeply, a long, steady breath that calms the trembling inside him. Not fully, but enough. Because despite the fear, the pressure, the unknown, he believes in his team. He believes in his astronauts. He believes in the thousands of minds and hands that have built this mission piece by piece. He believes that humanity is ready. He steps back from the moon's image and turns to his team. "Let us get to work," he says quietly, and the room comes alive. The briefing room hums with low conversation as the astronauts gather around the central table. Adrian Cole stands beside his crew, watching the technicians wheel in cart after cart of equipment, oxygen tanks, toolkits, pressure gauges, backup sensors, and sealed containers of their personal mission gear. The walls vibrate faintly with distant machinery running beneath the floor. Everything feels precise, rehearsed, and yet humming with a strange energy that tightens the air around them. He takes a breath and looks at his team. Jackson Hale, the navigator, leans casually against the table with his arms crossed, tapping his fingers in pattern, one long tap, two short, over and over. Part habit, part nervous energy. Miro Alvarez inspects a metal case filled with delicate instruments, his brow furrowed in focused concentration. David Cross adjusts a strap on his undersuit and glances up at the large countdown clock mounted on the far wall. Its red digits tick away mercilessly, each second a soft click that cuts through the room. Adrian exhales slowly. He feels the weight settling in his chest again, slow and heavy, like warm sand. But it is not fear alone. It is pride. It is responsibility. It is the awareness that every movement he makes from this moment forward will echo through history. The door swings open with a hiss of air, and their chief technician steps inside holding a clipboard. "Morning, gentlemen," the technician says. "Time to begin your equipment checks." They gather around the long table, where every item is laid out in flawless order. Rows of tools lined like silver soldiers, pressure gauges gleaming under bright overhead lights, sealed packets of emergency rations, small but essential, communications units, navigation tablets, thermal gloves, and backup gloves folded with delicate precision. Adrian picks up his helmet. The smooth white shell reflects the fluorescent lights in small distorted streaks. He runs a hand along its edge, remembering the countless simulations he wore it in, the hours spent sweating inside its sealed interior. He sets it down gently. Miro clears his throat. "All right," Miro says with a soft grin. "Let us begin." They move in a practiced rhythm, checking oxygen valves, inspecting stitching on pressure gloves, reviewing the tether tools for extravehicular activity, running fingers along the grooves of their multi-purpose instruments. The sound of clicking clasps and snapping latches fills the room. Pages of checklists rustle. Pens mark off completed steps with quick strokes. Adrian lifts his communications band, turning it slowly in his hands. "Feels heavier today," he murmurs. Jackson smirks. "Everything feels heavier today." David laughs, shaking his head. "Even my thoughts feel heavier." Their laughter eases the tightness in the room. Adrian feels it again. The shift, the lift, the silent reassurance that he is not walking this path alone. He has brothers beside him. He has trust stronger than the metal of the ship itself. They move to the next station, where medical staff check their vitals. Cold metal touches Adrian S. wrist as a small device measures his pulse. It beats fast, too fast, yet steady enough to pass. They take turns performing lung function tests, eye exams, reflex checks, and balance evaluations. None of them complain. None of them speak of fear. They all know any tremor, any irregularity, any deviation could delay them. Adrian focuses on each breath, each answer, each measurement. He lets the rhythm steady him. When they finish, the doctor nods with quiet approval. "You are cleared," the doctor says gently. "All of you." A wave of relief spreads across the group like warm sunlight. Next comes the safety briefing. They gather around a large screen, flashing diagrams and models of the shuttle. The engineer in front of them speaks clearly. If pressure drops unexpectedly, this is the first protocol. If oxygen flow becomes unstable, these are your backup valves. If body temperature shifts past threshold, Your internal systems will compensate for 9 minutes before alerting control. If communication drops, here are the visual signals each of you must know. The crew responds with nods, murmured affirmations, and quiet focus. They have practiced these steps hundreds of times, 1,000 times. But today, each word feels sharper, heavier, more significant. Adrian studies the diagrams carefully. He lets the details settle into his muscles like second nature. His chest rises and falls with controlled breaths. Then comes a moment he has always found strangely grounding, talking about how the human body will behave in the void. Their physician explains again. The initial shift will feel sudden pressure releasing from your limbs, a sense of rising from within. Your organs will adjust quickly, but you may feel disoriented. Expect a strange metallic taste in your mouth. You will feel heavier emotionally, lighter physically. Your senses may sharpen or dull in unpredictable sequence. Miro raises a brow. Sounds like a fun ride. David smirks. Better than the stomach flu I had last year. Even the physician laughs softly. Adrian smiles, but inside him something beats again. Slow, deep, unstoppable. It is almost time. After more checks, after more confirmations, after one final round of inspection, a technician steps into the room. "Gentlemen," he says, "lunch is ready. You will not get another chance once preparations begin." They move to the break room where trays of food wait on a long metal counter. The scent of warm vegetables, soft bread, and seasoned protein fills the room. A comforting smell, a reminder of Earth. Adrian sits with his crew at a small round table. They eat slowly, quietly at first. Then conversation grows, gentle and familiar. "This will be the last meal we have with gravity for a while," Jackson says. Miro lifts his fork thoughtfully. "Savor it then." David leans back in his chair. "I cannot wait to see Earth from above." Adrian looks at them. Each face reflects a different feeling. Excitement, nerves, determination, hope. His chest warms with quiet pride. When they finish, the technician re-enters. It is time. Those words carry a weight heavier than the rocket fuel waiting outside. They stand. Their chairs scrape softly across the floor. The hum of the building feels louder. The lights feel brighter. The air feels denser. They walk toward the suit room. Rows of white pressure suits hang on the far walls, illuminated by bright spotlights. Each suit looks both protective and fragile fabric and steel combined into a cocoon strong enough to sustain human life where no life has been before. Adrian feels a chill as he approaches his suit. Technicians help them step inside, guiding their arms through reinforced sleeves, adjusting the thick collar rings, locking the seals at their wrists and waist. The sound of latches clicking into place echoes like small gunshots. Cold air runs through the suits as they power on. Adrian feels the weight settle onto his shoulders and thighs, a comforting pressure he has grown used to. His breath sounds louder inside the helmet as they lower it onto his head. Soft white noise filters through the built-in speakers. He looks at his reflection in the glass faceplate of David S. helmet. He hardly recognizes himself. The suit makes him look larger, distant, like something more than human. They all stand in a row, 4 figures, in gleaming white, each helmet locked, each cable connected, each life supported by systems they trust completely. A voice crackles over the intercom. All crew prepare for transport to the launch pad. The doors open. Cool air rushes in. Bright sunlight spills across their suits. And then they walk. Their footsteps are heavy, synchronized. echoing against the long corridor walls. Technicians follow behind them. Engineers step aside respectfully. Guards nod as they pass through reinforced gates. Outside, the launch pad towers over them in the golden afternoon light. The rocket's white body gleams like polished bone against the sky. Vapor clouds drift upward from its cooling systems in slow, ghostly plumes. The scaffolding stands like a steel cathedral rising into the heavens. Adrian swallows hard. This is real. This is happening. Every nerve in his body sparks with electricity. They step into the elevator that rises along the side of the rocket. The floor vibrates softly as it ascends. The city shrinks beneath them. The horizon widens. The sky grows larger. When the doors open, a walkway stretches ahead toward the shuttle hatch. Wind washes over them with cool, steady force. The height makes Adrian's stomach flutter. But he keeps walking one slow, steady step at a time. Technicians wait at the hatch, guiding them inside. The interior of the shuttle is compact, full of buttons, screens, panels, and the scent of metal warmed by sunlight. The seats cradle their bodies firmly. Straps lock across their chests with firm clicks. Adrian settles in, staring up at the curved ceiling above him. Breathing becomes heavier. The helmet amplifies each quiche inhale, each exhale. Jackson adjusts his gloves and grins. "Ready for a ride, boys?" Miro chuckles. "I have been ready since the day they called me." David closes his eyes for a moment. "Here we go." Adrian's hands shake slightly as he fastens the last restraint. He forces a slow, steady breath. A voice comes through the speakers. Calm, resonant, deliberate. Commencing final launch sequence. Lights dim inside the shuttle. Panels glow with soft green and blue. Numbers count down on the monitor above them. Adrian feels his heartbeat sink to the rhythm without meaning to. The low rumble of engines ignites beneath them a vibration so deep it shakes the air inside his lungs. The countdown begins. 10, 9, 8. The entire shuttle trembles with rising power. 7, 6, 5. His fingers curl into fists. 4, 3. His breath catches. 2. Time holds its breath. 1. The world explodes into motion. Engines roar with a force that feels like lightning striking through the hull. The shuttle surges upward, pushing them back into their seats with crushing pressure. The ground falls away in a blur of white smoke and golden light. The sky flashes past the windows, fire beneath them, heaven above them. 0. They are gone, launched into the sky with the full fury of human ambition. The shuttle shakes violently as it punches upward through the thickest layers of atmosphere. Every bolt shudders, every panel hums under the strain. A deep roar surrounds the cabin so loud it is almost like sitting inside a thunderstorm. Adrian feels the pressure slam into his chest, pushing the air from his lungs in slow waves. His heartbeat echoes inside the helmet. His breaths become shorter, tighter, compressed under the weight of ascent. Through the small window near his seat, he sees streaks of orange flame tearing past the hull as the shuttle claws upward. Sparks dance across the glass like tiny shooting stars. Below the flames, the curve of the earth begins to shrink blue, white, and breathtaking. Jackson's voice crackles through the comms. "Hold steady, she is pushing hard today." Miro grunts, his voice strained. "Feels like an elephant sitting on my chest." David laughs breathlessly. "Better than a buffalo." Their small jokes crackle through the radio with sparks of tension relief, but Adrian barely hears them. His focus narrows. His thoughts collapse into a single awareness. We are leaving Earth. A sudden jolt pulls his stomach upward. The engines shift in tone, still loud, but changing, becoming higher, brighter, less guttural. The pressure pinning him to the seat begins to soften. The shuttle pierces the last barrier of atmosphere, and suddenly, silence. No more roaring, no more shaking, no more crushing weight, just a floating sensation, unexpected, surreal, like his body has forgotten how to follow the rules of being alive. "We have entered low orbit," the automated voice says. Jackson exhales sharply into the mic. Holy heavens, we made it. Adrian opens his eyes fully. He did not realize he had squeezed them shut. The pressure lifts from his chest, and his limbs feel strangely loose, weightless, yet heavy in their suits. Earth fills the window, now a massive sphere of swirling white clouds, deep blue oceans, and soft green continents glowing in sunlight. Its edges curve in a perfect arc. It looks peaceful, impossibly peaceful from this silent distance. Adrian's breath catches. He cannot look away. David whispers, voice trembling, "That is home, all of it, right there." Miro's voice softens. "Looks like a painting." Adrian feels warmth spread through his chest, a swell of awe, a flicker of homesickness, a tremor of disbelief. He presses one gloved hand against the window. Earth looks small, fragile, beautiful, and behind them, the deep black of space stretches infinitely, not empty, but full of stars that no longer twinkle through a filter of atmosphere, full of darkness so pure it seems to swallow the last echoes of sound. The crew begins loosening straps as the shuttle stabilizes. A low beep signals permission to move. The moment Adrian releases his harness, he floats upward, drifting away from the seat like a leaf lifting from the ground. His stomach flips. This is different from training softer, deeper stranger. Gravity is not simulated here. It is gone. His body wavers in midair until he catches a handle on the wall. Miro drifts past him, arms slightly spread. "Feels like swimming in air," he says through a laugh. David spins slowly, bumping gently into the ceiling, or like being a balloon someone let go of. Jackson pushes off a panel and floats upside down, shaking his head. "Training did not prepare us for this. My insides feel like they are rearranging themselves." Adrian grins despite the nerves fluttering under his skin. It feels incredible. They move around the cabin like newborn creatures testing limbs in a new world. Every push sends them drifting. Every shift of weight becomes a slow dance. After a few moments, they unzip the outer layers of their suits. Thick pressure shells click open, and they remove helmets, folding them gently into the storage compartments. Adrian's face feels cool as air touches his skin. He runs a hand through his hair strands, floating slightly with each movement. They change into lighter zero-gravity clothing, soft, flexible garments designed for long hours of comfort in weightlessness. As Adrian pulls the shirt over his head, it floats momentarily before settling onto him like a feather. He laughs softly. Even dressing feels magical. They head toward the main cabin console, where screens glow with data from the flight computers. A soft, chiming sound alerts them to an incoming call. Control room to lunar crew. The voice of Dr. Marcus Hale fills the cabin, steady and warm. "Gentlemen, how does it feel to join the stars?" Jackson taps a button. "Like being turned inside out and then floating forever," he replies cheerfully. Laughter ripples through both ends of the line. "We are seeing strong telemetry from your systems," Dr. Hale continues. "Trajectory is stable. You're on schedule for lunar transfer burn in short order. Adrian glances at the numbers on the display: radiation levels, pressure readings, oxygen reserves, fuel temperature, navigation markers, each one glowing steady and green. Mairo leans closer to the mic. Everything looks good from up here. The view is unbelievable. We can see the Earth, David adds. It is something else. There is a pause on the line. Then the director's voice returns, quieter. We can see it from here too. She's routing your camera feed to the main screen. Everyone is watching. Adrian imagines the control room back home, dozens of eyes fixed on the glowing orb, breath held, hands clasped. He whispers more to himself than to the mic. I will never forget this. No one replies right away. Some moments do not need words. Hours pass slowly. The Earth grows smaller behind them, shrinking until it becomes a round marble, suspended in darkness. Stars spread across every angle. No haze, no atmospheric blur, just endless pinpoints of pure white brightness. The shuttle hums softly as systems adjust and stabilize. Food packets float lazily when released, drifting like tiny silver balloons. Water, globs hover in the air like crystal beads. Everything feels unfamiliar, enchanting, a little surreal. Eventually, the moon appears, at first a pale smudge, a small grey disk glowing faintly against the black, then larger, brighter, more defined. Craters sharpen in shape as they approach. Shadowed valleys emerge. Sunlight kisses its edges in a hard silver line. Adrian stares at it quietly. His heartbeat slows, then quickens again. Jackson stops beside him. You feel that too? He asks quietly. Adrian nods. Fear, not loud but deep. A pulse of ancient, instinctual fear from entering the unknown. The moon is not just a destination. It is untouched, unvisited, unmapped by human feet. No one knows what truly waits there. David floats closer, voice barely above a whisper. What if the surface is unstable? What if the dust is deeper than we thought? What if something is out there we did not predict? Miro swallows hard. What if we did miss something in our numbers? Adrian grips a handle on the wall to steady his drifting body. His mouth feels dry. His chest tightens. This is what history never talks about. The quiet terror of doing something no one else has ever done. The fear hidden beneath heroism. He stares at the moon as it grows closer, closer, a silent world of shadows and light. The unknown presses into the cabin like invisible weight. The air feels colder. The stars feel sharper. The moon feels impossibly large. Adrian exhales slowly. This is real. This is happening, and there is no turning back. He grips the window frame as the moon glows brighter. Its surface glitters with silver dust untouched for billions of years. The silence deepens. The fear settles, and the shuttle glides forward toward a place no human has ever stood. The moon grows enormous in the windows as the shuttle approaches. Silver plains stretch endlessly beneath them, glowing softly beneath the distant sun. Jagged craters carve deep scars across its surface, casting long black shadows that look like frozen rivers of night. The air inside the shuttle is silent now. No jokes, no chatter, no drifting laughter. Only the soft hum of machinery and the slow inhale and exhale of 4 steadying breaths. Adrian grips the handles beside his seat as they begin final descent procedures. His hands tremble slightly, barely noticeable, inside the gloves, but he feels it. Every ounce of training, every simulation, every failure, and every success has brought him to this moment. He swallows hard, trying to loosen the knot tightening in his throat. His heartbeat feels loud inside his ears, amplified by the helmet and by the sheer magnitude of what they are about to do. Jackson checks the navigation display, tapping the screen with gloved fingers. Trajectory aligned, he says. His voice is steady, but there is an edge to it, a stiffness that betrays nerves simmering beneath professionalism. Descent thrusters ready, Miro adds. David leans forward, double-checking the landing gear indicators. All green. Adrian glances at the small photo taped to his console, a picture of Elise standing in their kitchen, smiling softly, sunlight in her hair. He feels her warmth in his chest, her hope, her fear, her belief in him. A message crackles through the speakers. Control to lunar crew. You are cleared for landing. The world is watching. Marcus Hale's voice is calm, but Adrian can hear the tremor beneath it. Humanity is holding its breath with him. Every television, every radio, every heart. Adrian steadies his breathing. Beginning final descent, he says. The shuttle tilts gently forward. Thrusters hiss in sharp bursts. Moondust swirls upward in faint silver clouds beneath the landing lights. The cabin vibrates with each adjustment. Small shudders run through the frame. The final stretch before landing feels impossibly long, every meter a leap through the unknown. Jackson's voice cracks through the tension. Altitude decreasing 30 meters 2015. Dust becomes thick beneath them, rising like ghostly mist. The thrusters roar louder, fighting gravity's unfamiliar pull. Adrian holds his breath. A soft thud, a gentle shiver, a settling vibration. Silence. They have landed. For a long moment, no one speaks. No one moves. No one breathes. Then David exhales a shaky laugh. We did it. Miro lets out a breath like someone who has carried a mountain on his back. Jackson leans back, helmet resting against the cushion, eyes closed in relief. Adrian stares at the lunar surface visible through the window. Grey, silent, endless, glowing like powdered silver. A world that has waited for billions of years, a world untouched by life. Until now. He feels tears prick the corners of his eyes. He lets them. We made it, he whispers. They go through landing checks, hands trembling slightly as they confirm systems one by one. Thrusters stable, pressure stable, communications clear, exterior temperature steady, landing gear locked. Every green indicator feels like another heartbeat returning to his chest. Their voices overlap softly, relief, awe, excitement blending together in a gentle hum. For the first time since leaving Earth, it feels safe to breathe fully. Suit up, Adrian says quietly. It is time. They move slowly, reverently, changing back into full pressure suits. Every movement feels sacred, like preparing for a ceremony older than civilization itself. Jackson seals Adrian's helmet. Adrian seals Miro's. David seals Jackson's. The final click of each helmet echoes through the shuttle like soft bells. Adrian steps toward the airlock door. His legs tremble beneath him, part weightlessness, part awe, part fear, part something deeper. Jackson speaks behind him, voice warm. After you, Captain. Adrian places his gloved hand on the metal lever. It feels cold, colder than anything he has ever touched. He inhales deeply, the sound loud in his helmet. He pulls the lever. A hiss of air fills the chamber as pressure equalizes. Lights shift from red to blue. The inner door closes behind them with a deep, resonant thump. Another breath. The outer door opens. A flood of white light fills the chamber, light from a sun filtered through space, sharp and pale. Light that has touched no atmosphere. Light that has touched no human. Adrian steps forward. The surface of the moon stretches before him, vast, quiet, glowing like the inside of a dream. A small ladder leads downward metal rungs dusted with thin particles of drifting lunar soil. He places his boot on the first rung. His breathing slows. His heartbeat steadies. He descends carefully, each step echoing through his suit. The last rung waits beneath his feet. Below it, the moon. He lifts his foot, pauses, and lowers it gently onto the surface. The soil compresses under his boot, forming a soft imprint. A faint puff of grey dust rises and floats slowly, drifting in a perfect arc. Then it settles. His foot rests firmly on solid lunar ground. The world holds its breath. The control room back on Earth waits. Families watching at home wait. Humanity itself waits, watching through cameras, through screens, through trembling hands and racing hearts. Adrian inhales deeply. His voice shakes, but it carries the warmth of a man who has seen Earth from above, who has crossed the sky, who has felt fear and awe in equal measure. The moon, he whispers softly, feels like standing inside a dream. He takes another step. Dust rises again in slow, graceful plumes. His shadow stretches long and thin across the untouched plains. The others soon join him, their boots leaving more impressions beside his. Together, they walk in silence, 4 humans in a place that has never known footsteps, never known voices, never known life. Adrian looks up. Space stretches infinitely above him, stars sharp and unmoving, Earth hanging like a glowing blue lantern far away. The distance feels impossible, beautiful, humbling. His breath trembles as he speaks again. "It is peaceful here," he says quietly, "and it makes the universe feel so much larger and us so very small." He kneels, scooping a handful of moon dust into a small sample bag. The grains float slowly from his glove, soft, shimmering grey particles that drift like ancient snow. He feels a magic in it, a truth, a quiet reminder that humanity is only one small part of something much bigger. He stands again, turning his gaze back toward the horizon, bright glare, deep shadows, infinite stillness. A sense of wonder washes over him, a soft awe settles into his bones. All the fear, all the training, all the waiting, all the hope it has led to this moment. A footprint on another world, a step forward for all of humanity, a dream made real beneath a silent sun. And as the cameras continue to record, as the world continues to watch, as his fellow astronauts explore quietly around him, Adrian Cole takes one last look at Earth hanging in the sky. He whispers not to the world, but to himself, soft and reverent. This journey was worth everything. The moon holds his words in perfect stillness. Space stretches endlessly above him, and humanity begins its new chapter on the quiet, glowing surface of another world.